Hello, peoples. I just got done watching, what was the titles of this? Home Sweet Home Alone, and the effort that I put into this review is the effort that was put into this movie. So, yeah, we're keeping this editing to a bare minimum. Let me get this light all the way up real quick. So, Home Sweet Home Alone is essentially a shot-for-shot remake of, what we had earlier, but not in... almost a reboot, but in the same universe. I don't know. It's really confusing. We have some new characters, I guess, and we have some old characters that show up. I don't know why they're here. Buzz is back, and he's still an idiot. This movie really relies on nostalgia, and it relies on it so much because this movie literally makes absolutely zero sense. The only logic that it goes by is the logic of the 1993 movie. Like, there's things that you put together in this movie that only make sense in your head because you've seen the original. Because if you see this movie and you haven't seen the original, these people seem like idiots. And they are idiots because it's just relying on the viewer to have knowledge of another movie. Because, for example, like the antagonist of the movie, played by what's her face from The Office and Peter from Deadpool 2, they don't seem that bad, and then all of a sudden they're breaking into this house and acting like Marvin what's his face, and Joe Pesci and the other guy. They're just acting like that all of a sudden. And by the way, this kid, I thought he was great in Jojo Rabbit. He was terrible in this movie because not very good directing. And the line delivery of the lines that we had before. This is everything you don't like about remakes. It really is. Everything you don't like about remakes, it's in this movie. Recycled jokes. Check. The new jokes that in there sucks. I counted how many times this movie made me genuinely laugh. It was under 10. Under 10 times. It was about 6 or 7. I genuinely laughed at this movie. So, and when I say laugh, it doesn't mean I'm like rolling out of the couch laughing. And that means a soft chuckle. So, yeah, but I was dying laughing at some of the stupid choices that they made in this movie. Because this movie tries to be, the modern exploration of Home Alone. But yet it tries to do that, but it also becomes blaringly obvious how this concept only works in the time frame that it was made. Because it has, the home security smart system, you cannot make calls on the blah, 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 their Alexa or whatever. But most 10-year-old kids usually have a phone. I know it's a sad reality, but it's true. Most in-house that's that nice, it's just so much logic jumps, but it tries to be this, modern Home Alone. But it doesn't work at the same time like it might have worked in the 90s. And it's not like the 90s movie is perfect, but it's still like a Christmas classic. But, and when you see things like reoccurring songs in the same editing, but they even have a scene where they comment then it's never as good as the original. It just feels so lazy, so unnecessary. And I don't even... It really, I thought this movie looked trash anyway, so I can't say it was disappointing. It was exactly what you think it's going to be. It's as bad as you think it was going to be. I just watched this out of pure curiosity, and yeah, I don't know. I watched this movie with my grandma. I'm not going to put it in the video, but Grandma, use 2 words to describe what you thought, or a full sentence. What'd you think? Go ahead. I'm not editing this, by the way, so go ahead. Just say it. Just say it sucked or whatever. Not funny. Just go.
They stole all their lines from the original movie, and it was not very original.
Yeah. So there we have it. I'm going to quote her on that. Put that on the Disney Plus promotion photo. Because the fact that, the credits start rolling and they recommend that you watch the original immediately is just, it's a movie that makes you want to watch the original. What else sucked? Because this might just be like a full rant video. What else can I talk about? Like I said, the kid is extremely dislikable. And with Home Alone, the original, you have a reason why Kevin McAllister is just kind of mad at his parents. And the reason why he might celebrate for the first day or two that his parents are gone. This kid has slight motivation to do that, but it's never goes to the lengths that the 90s version went out of its way to show you why he was really that mad at his family. This movie just feels like, oh, he was just kind of irritated, and then he's like, I made my family, well, he never said I made my family disappear. He's like, my family's gone or something like that, and then he has a realization like Kevin does. And by the way, the scenes, Kevin, it felt like, he made ice cream in this weird way, and he sat down and started watching movies he wasn't supposed to watch. This kid, every single scene like that just feels so directed. He's just in a pile of candy, shoving stuff in his mouth in a very neat order. No kid does it. It doesn't feel natural. It feels so directed, like, okay, so now you're going to do this because that's what modern kids like. And then you have the two antagonists, and the main girl, her name is Pam, and because she's from The Office, even though she didn't play Pam, the first thing they said, a character calls her Pamela Ding Dong, which is exactly what Michael calls Pam in The Office. There's like, it's somehow ripping off The Office because it doesn't know how to be funny. Yeah, this was maybe one of like the most frustrating watches of my whole entire life. Like, it went by fast because I was just kind of making fun of the movie as it went, but but particularly the worst thing about this movie is that none of it makes sense because it literally only follows the logic of the original movie. Because these people, the villains particularly, or the villains, they seem normal. They're not robbers, they're just normal family people. And then it gets to the point where, like, they think, spoilers if you care, they think that this grandma is home with him, and it's like, just knock on the door and say, we think your child stole blah, blah, blah. Movie's over, and these people are supposed to be like normal people, the average Joe. It's not like they want to rob this nice house. And so, yeah. And the funniest thing is that this movie tries to really wrap it up in like the tidiest little bow ever, and it's hysterical to watch because, not in a good way, but in a bad way, just because it's so movie. It's very Disney because, nothing really original here. Well, I guess it's technically Disney Fox, but was this movie necessary? No, it was not, because there was no attempt here. Absolutely no attempt at all. Because when you want to remake something, at least, like, I wasn't totally against the idea of a Home Alone, reboot. But when you rely on bringing old characters back, old jokes, maybe have a joke or two in there that isn't funny at all, maybe trying to make it modern. Like, Home Alone isn't really a movie you can make modern. Yes, I see, like, maybe you would want to remake blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah from the past. Like, let's say, like, since they're doing Dune again. I understand why they want to do that movie again, because one, the original wasn't very good, and the VFX that we have access to now is just nothing compared to what we had in the 80s. It's really the idea of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Home Alone is a movie where it's in a house. It looks fine. It's not like it's a super grainy movie filmed in black and white. Yes, it has that aged look to it, but it's not like, a silent film where you're like, well, yeah, maybe we could do that again. The original's funnier. So why watch this? I'm gonna give this movie I don't know. Some kids might be entertained by this one just because it looks more modern. I'm gonna give it a 1.8 out of 10. There you go. I'm not gonna animate it. But so yeah. Anyways, if you guys watch this, which I really don't think anyone will, but if you guys did, comment down below what you guys think of this. And yeah, this is a very interesting experience. One I will never forget. There you go. So, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that, and adios.